So, good evening, everyone, and particularly good evening, Anagārikā Mahesha. So wonderful to have you here and see you again. And good evening, everyone joining us in person at Bankstown, and also our friends joining us in person in Parramatta, and also, of course, people joining us online. So we are really international today in terms of the audience who are here and participating. Today, we have a very special topic and a very special guest speaker. I'll start first with talking about our speaker tonight. So we have Anagārikā Mahesha, who is visiting Sydney from Sri Lanka. And she is here for a short time, so we were so lucky that we were able to get her to come here for a talk. And Anagarika, she started first really in the lay life in her practice, and she realised, wow, there's just so much more to pursue in her spiritual journey, not necessarily through her successful career in the corporate world, which is what she was doing as a business strategist. Rather, she wanted to really follow the Dhamma on her path, and that's why she renounced her lay life to seek eternal bliss as an Anagarika. And since then, she has joined the Jetavana Buddhist monastery in Sri Lanka, and there she is guided by her teachers, by daily Buddhist counselling sessions which she conducts, and also she contributes to the development of the monastery's international school. So it's fantastic, all the incredible work that she does for the community in Sri Lanka as well as abroad as well. And after coming to Sydney, she'll also be travelling to other places to share the Dhamma. So tonight, she's here to talk about this topic called Navigating the Daily Challenges of a Woman, a practical application of Buddhist philosophy. So for all the men who have joined us, that does not exclude you in any way, because anyone who comes across any type of woman in their lives will be able to benefit from today. And I would imagine a lot of the things we'll talk about tonight will also apply to the challenges of men as well. But without further ado, let us now invite Anagarika for tonight's session.
Thank you very much, Tina. That is a beautiful introduction, I would say. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I really appreciate if you can turn on your camera so that I can see your beautiful faces. So it'll help me as well in a way. Okay, I can see the beautiful, handsome face of Sam suddenly. Okay, that would be really, really great. I hope everybody can see me as well clearly, yes, and hear me clearly as well. Yes. Okay, great. So I know that today's topic is about, women, but it's okay. It's okay. The stress and daily struggles are common for everyone, despite whether you're a woman or a man. So I know, being a woman, because I know, like, even though now you see me as an Anagarika, a person who has renounced her lay life, and now I walk a different path, but being there, done that, I know what it's like to have a stressful life, because if I tell a little bit about my life as well, I wanted to become a business strategist, and I was like running a rat race, if I put it that way. Achievement after achievement. But being a woman is sometimes hard because you have many roles to play. You have to be a daughter, a mother, and then in the work environment, you are expected to, climb the corporate ladder. And, so many things. Sometimes you have to balance your work life with the normal life, day-to-day, family life. And also you have to be a good relative. And for friends, you have to be a good supportive friends. All of those roles and requirements, demands from the society takes toll on you, can take toll on you sometimes. And despite all the achievements and everything, I felt so much stress and sometimes discontentment. Like I never found the contentment in the things that I did. But if a person looked from the outside, will say, oh, she's a successful person. I had a good family and good career, this and that, and it looked as if it's like really, really she's having fun, but I had a lot of stress going on. I wanted appreciation a lot from people, but I didn't get it sometimes. I wanted love a lot from people around me, but they have their own stresses to manage, and so I liked it sometimes, I think. So before I start, because this is about daily challenges of a woman and then the stressful situations people have to face, I would like to start with a small meditation. This is called metta meditation. Okay, so I want you to have really think deeply what I'm going to chant a certain say a meditation, and I would like to close your eyes and really think about this. Metta is about loving kindness. So we're going to start this session by spreading loving kindness to all beings. Okay, so I want you to really focus on it and really feel it for all the beings. We're spreading love and kindness for all beings, right? Really, really feel it, because I know you want love and affection and kindness. So first, we're going to spread it like from your heart. This gives a vibe throughout the world, and just focus on that and follow me. All right, we'll close our eyes, and I'm going to say something. I want you to think through that. Okay, right. May I and all beings in all worlds be freed from the fire of birth, freed from the fire of decay, freed from the fire of illness, freed from the fire of death, freed from the fire of sorrow, freed from the fire of lamentation, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. May I and all beings in all worlds be freed from the fire of suffering, freed from the fire of discontentment, freed from the fire of exhaustion, freed from the fire of not getting what one likes, freed from the fire of clinging onto the fire aggregates, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. May I and all beings in all worlds be freed from the suffering of samsara, freed from the disease of samsara, freed from the fear of samsara, freed from the fire of samsara, freed from the burning of samsara, freed from the sorrow of samsara, freed from the lust of samsara, freed from the clutches of samsara, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. The calm worlds are in despair, May I and all beings be freed from the karma worlds. The Rupa worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be free from Rupa worlds. The Rupa worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be freed from the Rupa worlds. All worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be freed from all the worlds. Nibbana is the only salvation. May all beings attain Nibbana. Nibbana is the only salvation. May all beings attain Nibbana. Nibbana is the only salvation. May all beings attain Nibbana. Letting go is the only salvation. May I and all beings let go. Detachment is the only salvation. May I and all beings be detached. Being freed is the only salvation. May I and all beings be freed. Nibbana is the only salvation. May I and all beings attain Nibbana. May I and all beings in all worlds be freed from the bondage of lust, freed from the bondage of aversion, freed from the bondage of delusion, freed from the bondage of mother, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, healed with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. Okay, you can open your eyes. Okay, I hope it should have helped to calm your mind. Right? So this would be like to make you ready to listen to the sermon, so you have more focus. And if you really think through these lines, I know there's some of the wordings might have been a bit new to you, but if you are Buddhist, if you are a follower of Buddhist philosophy, this would have been, the wordings would have been like familiar to all of you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So I really want this to be an interactive session as well. So that's why I wanted to, turn in your cameras so that I can see your beautiful faces and I can get an idea whether you get the concepts or not. So I'm trying to get across some of the deep concepts of Buddhist philosophy, but in a very practical approach. Because I know now, as I discussed earlier, we are having challenges in life because we expect a lot of things to happen around us. When those expectations are not met, we are usually get stressed and get very disappointments in life. We have a lot of wantings and expectations, and we want them to happen that way. For example, so for a woman, they are supposed to, be a good mother. If they're a mother, they're supposed to be good mothers, and they're supposed to be good if they're working in office environment or whatever the profession they are in, they're expected to work in a certain way, to be very kind and maybe to the people around them, and maybe perform really well. Those kind of expectations are also there, and be a good wife at the same time, and also to look really good as well. So a lot of expectations coming your way. But what we have to understand is, even though we expect things to happen in the world, the things which happen around us, we think that we are in control of everything. But what is in control of the things which happen around us? There's a theory called cause and effect. This is like one of the main theories of Buddhist philosophy. As I'm a follower of the Buddhist philosophy, I live a philosophy. So I think this is the truth of the world. And it's not actually, should not be limited to any religion or caste or creed or and nationality for that matter. It is a truth, and truth should be known by all people in all corners of the world. I believe that. And because I was in your position, like I was living lay life and a corporate life. I had a career, a successful career, I would say, and a beautiful family as well. But I never knew the things that I know now beforehand. I mean, had I known that at that time, the life would have been much easier, I believe, more calm. Okay, so I'd like to ask you a question. If I ask you to scale from 1 to 10, how stressed are you at this moment? I'm going to ask, okay? Okay, I can read the names, but first of all, I would like to ask one of our offline audiences. Sorry, what's your name, sir?
Arosh.
Arosh.
Arosha.
Arosha. So what do you think?
7?
7.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to ask from our online audience, Heidi or Heidi, I'm sorry. Heidi, yes.
A 2.
2. Oh.
I feel very relaxed today.
Okay.
I had the day off work today. I had a wonderful day.
That helps.
Okay. Priyangika. Okay. Where would you scale you?
I would say 4 at the moment.
4. Okay.
Yeah, it was in the around 4:30ish. It was up to 7. Now it's 4.
Now it's 4. I think the meditation would have helped.
Yeah.
Okay. Nikki. What do you think, Nikki?
Hi. That was a lovely meditation. Thank you. So yes, it has helped. Apart from not feeling so well, probably a 2 or a 3. Not so
2 or
stressed
3.
at the moment.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One more. I will ask for one more. Let's see who's this lucky person.
Nilakshi.
No, it's wearing specs. I can't read that.
Oh, the specs, that's Alodia.
Alodia. Alodia, where would you place you in the scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, she's got a sore throat, but she says 3.
Oh.
And
Okay.
also Anagārikā, Nilakshi said she's a 4, but can go up in a second. She's still learning. My kid and greedy Labrador, grumpy husband.
And okay. So yes, so at different points of life, sometimes there are times that we are really stressed, so disappointed, and there are times in your life like you're okay, but there's as I told you, there's a concept called cause and effect in Buddhist philosophy. I'm not going to use a lot of jargon like Buddhist, like Pali words here, because not everybody would understand that. So I would like to make it like very understandable, okay, and try to explain it in very simple terms and make it more practical, how you can practically see things which are happening around it, okay? So the concept that I'm going to talk about is cause and effect. I hope you can see this board. Oh, my writings is tiny, and you know it's not calligraphy, but I think it's readable. Okay, right. Suppose we'll take an example. You know, because I've lived in the corporate environment, so I can remember we prepare budgets. Okay, even though if you have worked in corporate environment, not necessarily, but you know about what a budget is like. It's like a plan. With the information at that point, with the data at that moment, we prepare a budget. Okay, and then after some time, maybe quarterly, you check the budget with the actual. When I think about it, it's funny because even though you plan a lot and you gather a lot of data at that time, and look into the past, and then you extrapolate, and then you come up with the budget, the actual is never, ever tally with the budget. So that's why we have a variance analysis going on. So other than that, then we were like, sometimes the bosses are like, you know, the budget was like this, the actual was like this, is like this. Why is that? Why is that? They are always concerned about that. But one thing for sure, the budget was never the actual. So always this variance analysis, and then we, you know, plan for the next year or the next quarter. You know, that's how things work. But now that I know the world runs according to cause and effect, it's not because how we expect things to happen or how we want things to happen, that things will happen. Okay, for an example, so we do exams sometimes. Sometimes if we want to climb the corporate ladder, I'm sorry, I'm going to use some of my life experience as well. So you're in one position, and then you are looking to climb the next position, and you might have to, you know, go through do some exams, and you know, obtain some qualifications to come to that level. So then you study. Okay, so your expectation, I'm going to erase it. So your expectation is to pass the exam. Okay, this is the expectation. So when I'm explaining this, I want you to put one of your life experience as well, like one of your expectations, maybe related to your career or in your family life, maybe be a good mother or whatsoever. All right? Okay. So passing the exam. So what should you do is like to study. Okay? Study. And go to lectures. So studying is one thing, and then going to participate in the lectures. So when you do this, you're supposed to pass the exam with it. Okay? So you do this really well. Then now your expectation is this. Pass the exam with, let's say, A. Okay, or distinction of whatsoever. Okay, so this is the expectation. What happens is like you do these things and you expect this to happen, right? And when it's not met, you're stressed. when you're doing this also, you have an expectation to pass the exam. You have the fear of whether I'm going to pass, whether I'm going to pass. While you're studying as well, will this work? Even though it might not be very prominent, but it's subtly, it's there. You still have the fear going on. So this might add up when the examination time comes. The fear adds up as well. Okay, so there is a constant fear. Why the fear is there? Because expectation is there, right? So there's a correlation between the two. But passing the exam is effect of many causes. It is dependent, many causes, sometimes causes that we can see, and sometimes causes that we cannot see. So passing the exam is an effect of many causes coming together. All right, now you studying and going to lectures are two of the causes that should align. But there, when you're writing the exam, okay, the day before you were studying really, really hard, and you were spent a sleepless night, for example, we say, and during the exam, you fall asleep even without consciously, you lose maybe 15 minutes, okay? Can this happen? Of course, this can happen. But when you were studying and going to lectures, did you know that was going to happen? No, you didn't know. This is another cause which aligned. Okay. And then you studied certain areas, you're very thorough with certain areas, and there are other areas that you're not maybe very thorough with that particular subject, okay? And the paper was so forgiving that all of the questions were from the areas that you're not very good at. Can that happen? Of course that can happen. On the paper, not from the areas. Okay. Then when you're on the way to the examination center, oh, you got a tire puncture and you got late to exam and you lost about 20 minutes to sit for the exam, and you lost that time. So you could have put your full effort, but you couldn't put it. Can that happen? Yes, it can. Leading to loss of time. Okay. And you were very thorough with the areas that you were studying. But at that point of time, when you're writing the exam, it just didn't come to your mind. Haven't that happened to you? It has happened to me many times because I've done professional exams. I have done my degree, the BSc, and that has happened to me plenty of times. Did you plan it? No. But you still have this expectation from the beginning for it to happen this way. Sometimes what has happened to me is I was really, really sure that I wrote the right answer, but when I come home and then take a look at the paper again, oh, what? And the question was something else, and I interpreted it in another way. Can that happen? Yes, it can happen. So as you can see, so there could be so many other causes, so many, right? And one of my students told me that the very day that he had to face a certain exam, while he was going to the exam, he got the news that his friend passed away. oh, now the mental situation is very, very in chaos, I would say. So he couldn't concentrate on the paper. Can that happen? That can happen. Sudden news. So as you can see, passing the exam with an A is an effect of many causes coming together. Do you know what are the causes that is going to come together? Some of them you know. So do you think that you have control, all the control of this, the outcome or the effect? You don't have control of that because the world works according to a certain truth, and that is called cause and effect. Whatever the outcome that you're looking for or expectation that you set on, please remember that it's going to be an effect of many causes coming together. If you know this, if you get a B and you're not stressed, you know it's cause and effect. Even though you have an expectation, that expectation will not be very rigid. It has to happen. So most of the times what happens is like people are sometimes they look for perfection. I was a perfectionist. Oh my God. I wanted things done exactly that way. And therefore, because I didn't know this at that time, I had a lot of stress. I had to experience a lot of stress. I think you can apply this to most of your stressful situations. If you try to apply this, I think this will work. And then today, when I was coming for this particular discussion, I was coming with one of these beautiful ladies who are sitting here, seated here. I don't think you can see her, but then she was kind of she wanted to take me to this place on time, and then she was getting a little bit stressed when I told her, yes, we have to drive on time. We have to be ready on time as well. But please remember, it is an effect of many causes coming together, because just in front of us, an accident could happen, and that was not planned. Is that your fault? It's not your fault. That's how the causes align. Sometimes when we are coming, and you can't. Sometimes the paths, or you might take a wrong turn, and it might take more time. Can that happen? It can happen. We try our best to avoid those things. We plan ahead, but a result or an effect is always dependent on many causes coming together. If you know this, even what happens, the outcome is not what you expected. You know how to think about it. You won't be stressed that much because you know your intention was not to get a B, or your intention was not to come late to a certain place or an event. You planned it, you did whatever you can. You aligned some causes, which is in your control, right? There's so many things that has to come together for an outcome or an effect to happen. Okay. Now, for example, if you have children, you have an expectation for your child to behave in a certain way, right? That is very normal of parents. Parents want the best for their children. But please know that the behavior of a child is an effect of many causes. You telling your child to, you should behave in this way, you should respect elders, this is how you should, manage your time, or this is how you should study. All of those are some views that you're giving to your child and your child will work accordingly. But can you control everything about your child? No. When that is the environment of the family. But when the child is in various different environments, for example, in school, they get various views. Views means like a view, not that, but then you get views of how to do things. You know, to do this way, and this is how you should eat. This is how you should walk. This is how you should, deal with people. Likewise, they always get different views. Can you control it? No. When they are in those environments, they get all those views. And so the behavior of a child is an effect of combination of so many causes coming together. So if you have an expectation, this should be this way, and that expectation is very rigid, what happens? You will end up getting distressed because you don't have an idea about how the world works. Environment is really, really important because environment provides a lot of environment is one of the main important things for a child, especially because there's a saying like, if I know the 5 people that you associate, I know who you are. That's because the 5 people, their views, it comes to you, right? And then you start thinking in that pattern normally. If you don't have like basis, very rooted views, and when those views come in, they also start to work together, and your behavior is an outcome or an effect of all those causes coming together. Does this make sense? Yes? I hope so. And so even though you think that you are in control of yourself, you are but an effect, the environment that you associate. When I say environment, it could be, it's a religious environment, it could be the work environment, it could be the family environment, relatives, and all the things, all the time, this mind gets indoctrinated with lot of views. And then you are a product of all the causes coming together. So please keep in mind that you are also, even though you think that you are in control of your behavior, it is an effect of many causes coming together. So what happens is, even your child, you want it, she or he, to have a certain behavior. That is your expectation. If you're like very rigid about it, you will end up suffering. All right. So you can now strategically think about if your child is, not behaving the way you want. Maybe you can do a scan, like what is associating the most, so that the views that you give are no longer strong enough against those views which is coming from the environments that he's associated. All right, so that's a little parenting tips a little bit. Okay, but all in all, what I want you to know, like in my early life, I was like very, very stressed. I was stressed about, being a woman. You are, in this day and age, you were supposed to look in a certain way, and it took toll on me because I was working. I didn't have time to put a lot of effort on the way I look. I was a daughter and I was married at that time, so I had to be a good wife as well. And then the corporate environment is very competitive back in Sri Lanka, where I used to work. I used to work for esteemed companies and in the finance sector and many sectors as well. So it was sometimes I had to work long hours, and I didn't have much time to put a lot of time to, go to salons and go to spas and this and that. But then I was supposed to look good as well, because that's what we see on social media all the time, the idols on, and then the glossy magazines, and then I sometimes felt inferior and not good looking enough. I think most of the women can resonate with me. Yeah. Okay. But, what I think is like women really want attention from men as well. But I think when it comes to attention, I think it's better to get attention for the qualities rather than the looks. That's one thing. And I know that because I speak to a lot of ladies on a daily basis, and most of them are really, really concerned, especially the teenagers are really concerned about how they look. Maybe not just the teenagers, but across all ages as well. Maybe it's common for gentlemen as well. I don't know, to look handsome or look in a certain way, look like macho or something. I don't know how you put it, but yes, agree, right? Yeah, but you have a lot of work and you don't have much time to do that. There's a lot of comparison going on. But I want you to know, even the beauty queens are not completely satisfied with how they look. Because, it's just a view. It doesn't have logic. You have to look in a certain way, very slender, hourglass figure, or you have to have a certain way of, okay, I don't have to explain everything, but it's just a view. And it doesn't have a logic when it comes to beauty. I just want to say this as well. This is a little bit apart from the concept that I'm going to talk about, but then I know for exactly that this is one of the main the problems related to self-esteem that a lot of women have. They're supposed to look according, they have to fit into certain beauty standards. Those people on magazines, and I don't have anything, I'm not saying they're bad or whatever. What I'm trying to convey to you is like, that is their job to look good, but not ours. That is their job to look good. And they will tell you to, look like this, or they will portray themselves in a way that, be like me, look like me, this is what you're supposed to do, this and that. And it's their job. It was not our job as well. Even though it's their job, I think it will be really, really stressful because all the time those views are fed into our minds. Why this figure? Okay, that's not how it should be. I'm sorry. I'm not a good artist. Okay, so this, you call it this. Still, it's not right, but it's okay. You get it. Okay. Why? I mean, why is it? I mean, can you explain what's the logic? There's no logic. It's just a view, right? There are some countries where they feel a woman is beautiful if they have a long neck and a lot of like metal plates are worn around their necks, and they really feel that as beautiful, and we will think about it like it's bizarre. But it's a view. When the mind believes a certain view is right, then it starts to believe that it's right, and they start to feel as if it's beautiful. I'm just scratching the surface. I can go into deep in these concepts if I'm going to explain it to you. But I'm not going to dwell into those areas today because it's like an introductory session for all of you. So I just wanted to convey this to you because I'm talking about daily stresses that women face. Having to look in a certain way is one of the main stresses that will take toll on women sometimes. So I know, being that done that for the teacher. So I want you to know that you are perfect the way you are. All right? You're perfect the way you are. Because again, you were born in a certain way. Did you ask for your ears to be this way? Did you ask for your eyes to be this way? Did you ask for your nose to be this? If you ask, you will get the lips of Angelina Jolie, and you will get the eyes of, I don't know, Aishwarya Rai, and the skin of, say, some other celebrity, but But this is what the nature has given you, and it's perfect the way it is. Right? And the nature will not create you this way if it's not perfect. It's just there are some views that's baseless, that cannot have, there's no logic in it. Okay, so I think it can boost your self-esteem a little bit. Anyway, so you're supposed to look a certain way, and then you're supposed, because of your expectation, please know that if you're looking for perfection in many things, okay, this has to happen this way. So you plan ahead, and it doesn't work in that way. It goes completely upside down sometimes. Know that it is because it's how the causes, all the causes have aligned, and that is the effect of the causes at that moment, and it is perfect that way. We think the world is imperfect and your expectation is perfect. No, the world is always perfect because it runs according to cause and effect. If you know this, you will be able to accept what is happening around you, with wisdom, and maybe align courses. Whatever. You can be vigilant, and you can see, okay, this effect is coming because of these causes. So you have to look for causes. So in this one, if you scored B and you wanted to score A, so you studying and going to lectures is not good enough, but you have to do them anyway. But maybe not to tire yourself just before the exam too much, and don't spend sleepless nights before the exam, so don't fall asleep on the day of the exam. So you are aligning courses as much as possible. Now, always when your expectation is not met, you don't feel sorrowful as before, but you just take the learning. Okay? Maybe you can align courses better next time. So the learning is always there without the sorrow, the grief. Does that make sense? Okay, you think that now you can apply this to life, because I wanted to make it like really practical, this cause and effect. You can, this is like a very practical and simple approach how you can apply it to your day-to-day life. Because I can preach the Dhamma and explain it, but you should be able to make a change in your lives by applying it. Maybe reduce the stress levels that you have, juggling into various in various roles that you have to play. Life is a big dress up, isn't it? You're in the kitchen, you dress up in a certain way, in the work environment, you dress up professionally, and when you go to parties, you dress up in a certain way. When you're at home, you're dressed up in another way. I feel like life is a big dress up. You play various roles. Okay. I think we have like 5 minutes more before, as Tina asked me to leave like half an hour for you to ask questions. And I think from the audience, we have a lovely audience. I think you were like very receiving. I really appreciate that. And some of the very few audience who's offline or with me, I think they were like very receiving as well. If you have questions, it's time for you to ask. You can ask any question related to what I explained right now. I don't know whether what is written in the board was clear to you. You think so, Katrina?
I think so. And I think also the online audience, they've put it into the chat.
Okay.
Lots of thumbs up and lots of hearts, as well as also people who really resonate with what you've been saying and the examples. Someone says, thank you so much for addressing this topic when you were talking about the appearance that we always have this expectation to look a certain way. And so I think it's pretty spot on so far. So perhaps we'll now open the floor to any questions. So if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to ask them. If you're online, you can unmute yourself, or you could even just pop it into the chat and I can facilitate the questions.
Yes.
So any questions for Anagarika?
I think it's more of a comment, and thank you for drawing the chart, Anagarika.
Yeah.
I think it struck me too is a lot of people have a lot of misplaced ideas of what causes and effect have in terms of relationships. So and I think you alluded to it quite strongly that, anxiety, stress, worry has no impact in a way on you passing the exam. And in fact, it's got a detrimental impact. But people think and equate, oh, if I worry about it more, I'll work harder on it. It's just misplaced hope. Yeah. It's like planting a chili seed and expecting bananas. It's impossible. But
you put it in a nice way.
Quite good. Yeah. So, and thanks for sharing that. I thought that's something that I thought.
It's thanks should go to my teachers. If they weren't there, I always tell this, because if they weren't there to lend me their hands, I would be really stressed out woman who's put on a smile, but yet inside I had a lot of stresses. But not now. I'm smiling because I really feel happy.
Yeah. Anagarika, thank you so much. We do have some questions online. Maybe we'll go to Heidi first. Yes, go for it, Heidi.
Thank you. Thanks, Tina. Thank you, Anagarika. So my question is, thank you so much for addressing what you've addressed. It's very helpful. So I think this is somewhat related, because I think, often we're comparing ourselves to other people, right? Which can cause a lot of suffering. And I work with people with schizophrenia, and I have a client who he has he's actually the same age as me, and he has his 30-year school reunion on the weekend. But he went to a very, very prestigious school in Sydney, one of the, most expensive schools. And so he's been every day for 2 months, he's been worrying about this school reunion, because everybody else is so successful. And back when he was in school, he could kind of, he was not the most high achieving. He wasn't the most popular or anything, but he was at least felt somewhat equal to his peers. Whereas now, 30 years later, they've obviously, they've all got families, they've all got made a lot of money and a lot of material possessions. And he, he's doesn't have any of that. So I've tried very hard to talk to him about, pointing out all his wonderful qualities. He's so interesting to talk to. He's got such a good heart. He contributes so much to his different communities.
Wow.
And he's done lots of amazing things, but he can't get out of this mindset, so I just wondered if you have any advice for how I can help him.
Of course. Thank you very much, Heidi, for sharing with us that question. And I'm like really, really happy that you share it with because I just spotted a virtue in you, and that is you are speaking on behalf of your friend, and you're concerned about that. Instead of, you should have just posted one of the questions that you have, but you are thinking about your friend, and you are using this forum, this opportunity to help him, to get help for him. And I really, really appreciate that, and it's an admirable quality, because in this day and age, people are very, very self-centered, and you are less self-centered, and you're thinking about others, and that is a quality that is rare. I'm not even just saying it is rare. And please tell your friend, you said that he has a lot of good qualities, and I was really, really, truly happy to hear that. I'm usually over the moon when I hear good qualities of people, because I don't know, it's just me. I really, really feel happy when I hear about good qualities of people. It gets me emotional, kind of. And please tell him, I know this is, I've been through this. You have the alumni, and you have get-togethers of people of the same profession, and you want to always, okay, you meet maybe once a year, or biannually, whatever. Then every time you visit, you want to showcase you have achieved something in your career. I have achieved something. I have a bigger car, or now I have climbed the corporate ladder, and I'm no longer an assistant manager. I'm a manager now. I am executive now, or whatever. So they all want to showcase that. So despite of all the achievements, I must say, they all are struggling in their lives. But, those are to portray that, they are in constant battle to showcase to everyone. And I'm not saying that everybody is like this. I'm just talking from my life experience, and I have no intention whatsoever to offend anyone when I'm saying this, but this is the truth. It's at least this has been the truth in my life, that most of the times they want to network. And why do they want to network in these kind of situations? Okay, how am I going to go to the next level, and how am I going to use these connections for that? And then talk about the day-to-day, maybe the challenges as well, to get help from that as well. But most of the time, it's very much self-centered, and there's a lot of comparison going on, and you might feel a bit, you might feel a lot of lower self-esteem as well. So again, it is a situation like that. But I would like you to convey this to him. Ask him, no matter whatever the positions or possessions that you have, it can be lost in just one day. I've met a lot of people like that in my life during my 2.5 years as an Anagarika, close to 3 years now. I've talked to a lot of people, and there are people who have lost things, the possessions, or the materialistic possessions that they have in a very short period of time. But, there are things in your life that cannot be stolen away from you. that cannot be taken away from him, and that is those beautiful qualities in you. People will not like you, or people will not remember you based on whatever you have, whatever position you have, but they will remember you for your qualities. So please ask him to, no matter what happens around him, don't let that taken away from him. For me, a person who's rich is not a person who has a lot of possessions. For me, a person who's rich is a person who's rich at his heart, who's giving, who's selfless, who can give kindness to others. The rarest thing in the world today out there is love, affection, appreciation. People do a lot of work, but they don't get appreciated. But if there is a person who appreciates others, who gives love to others, who gives kindness to others, I think that person is a blessing on earth. We need more and more people like him. Please convey this to him. Be rich at his. Ask him to be rich at their heart.
Thank you, Anagarika. That is
Yeah.
such a powerful and heartfelt answer. So Heidi, I hope you took some notes because that was incredible. And if not, this is recorded and it will be online shortly. Anagarika, we do have, and because I think that was such a great question from Heidi, it's really just opened up for a lot of people. And I've got some questions online. People are opening up about themselves as well. I know Brooke has her virtual hand up as well. We'll come to you shortly, Brooke.
Yeah.
I just want to share this, which is something that someone online has said. Hearing what you've just said, she says, I almost had a breakdown after COVID, having to meet friends for a party. I didn't value myself much at that time, but once I learnt to, I don't stress anymore. So I think that that's quite a common thing, especially after COVID when there was that isolation. If Anagarika, you had anything you wish to add to that?
Yes. So this question about isolation, is it?
Yeah, so especially those people who don't value themselves much. Yeah.
I think it's a very, very, very common issue amongst, despite of their achievements, this self-worth is a problem. It's because that you compare with others, right? You compare yourself with others, and it's because you don't always see what are the goodness inside you. What are the good things you already have done? What are the achievements that you already have achieved? You don't focus on that. And you always focus on what you don't have. Because people will tell you, okay, then achieve this, achieve that. I want you to question those people. I'm not in a bad way, but not in an aggressive way. Please don't do that. But at least question them in a nice way. Okay, you ask me to look in a certain way, or they might not ask you, but that is the idea that you usually get from people around. Ask them if you have, they will tell if you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, do this, do that. Ask them, now that you have done it, are you content? Are you content? They're after something all the time. They're after something. They're in search of happiness. They are in search of the contentment all the time. There's no single person out there who will say, okay, I have achieved this. Now I'm content, completely content. I don't think even a millionaire can say that. They will be signing another contract and another contract. I'm saying this, my intention is not to put down anyone, but I'm just telling the truth. Where is that contentment? So the more and more you try to find happiness from outside things and achieving things, I don't think it's the way to find happiness. It's something you have to find from within. So I really want to convey this message to people with low esteem, is that please value the human life that you've got. You're a human being, and human life is very, very special. First of all, be thankful that you have a human life. Be thankful that you can walk, if you can walk. Be thankful that you can walk. Be thankful that you can see properly. Be thankful that you can hear properly. Because in any minute, you can lose it as well. In any minute, you can lose your life as well. We have a doctor here. He will tell me, please value what you already have. If you go on a comparison, no matter what you have, you can always be unhappy. No matter what you have, you can be unhappy. You will continue to achieve things, but you will be in constant fear that you will lose it as well. You will have constant fear of maintaining as well. I had a constant fear when I tried to climb the corporate ladder. Once you reach a certain point, and then you're in fear that you might lose it as well. It's always there. It might not be prominent, but there are times that it becomes really prominent. But that means it has always been there, even though you don't realize it. It is not the right way to find happiness. Be content. As I said, world is in balance because it runs in cause and effect. I can connect all those things with deep understanding of the Dhamma, but I will just leave you with this message. Please be grateful for what you already have. Be grateful that you get something to eat. And what you eat is, you think that, okay, I buy my sandwich from the money that I have. So it's my car, my petrol. That kind of mentality is there amongst a lot of people. But it is that sandwich that you bought. A person would have, waken up in the morning and prepared it. And there is a person who went shopping for those things. And there was a person who came early in the morning and opened the shop. And if you drove to that place to buy that sandwich, there were people who developed the roads. There were people who put their time and effort to develop the vehicle that you travel in. You are here because of the effort of so many people. You are like this today is because your teachers taught you. You are here today because your mother and father gave you life. You are here today because your bus driver took you to school every single day. He did his job every single day. You're wearing something today because there is a person who knitted it, and there is a person who put effort to get the end product. And there were people who did the selling, the merchandising. there's a lot of effort for you to be who you are today. We think we are doing all the things that we do in a day, but you are an effort of many people. It's again cause and effect in another way. Think about the thing that you're wearing. How much of effort would have gone to it? There's effort related to transport, effort related to making the product, right? And people who sold it. And if it's a gift, the person who, if it's it's a gift, a branded one, which is given to you by one of your friends, and they must have worked for a month to earn a salary, and part of it was spent to buy that. So maybe two weeks worth of working. Don't think that you come to a position or who you are today is just because your own effort. It is not. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for all the efforts that all people around you have put for you to be like this today. I am grateful for all my teachers, and I'm grateful for the audience right now. I'm grateful for the fact that you are asking questions so that I can give what is there, which is given to me by my teachers, to you. I don't think that I'm talking to you right now. I think that back in the monastery, all my sisters, my brothers, my teachers, all their effort is talking to you right now. I'm just a face. While I'm giving to you all their love. Okay, so my message to all the people who have low self-esteem, who tend to compare, it's like your job is not to compare, but to appreciate and be grateful for what you have already. And start giving. Start appreciating others. As I told you, it's not wealth, it's not cars or luxury apartments that people lack. It's love and compassion. Appreciation is what people lack. Give it. Okay?
Thank you.
And yes. And please smile, everyone. Can I see your smiles? Smile because smiles. I'll show you. Okay? See the difference? Because there are people who, even though they're struggling, they always put on a smile because they know that when you see a person who's smiling, obviously there's some vibe in it. It's soothing for others to see a smiling person. So it is also kind of metta that you put on a smile. It's very expensive today. It's very expensive. I think it's very expensive these days because people are always like this. I forget to smile. Just put on a smile. All right. All right. I think I was able to answer the questions.
Yes,
yeah,
I think so. And so many people online have said thank you. They really resonate with you. Beautifully said. That was really inspiring. Someone said deep insights and calming speech. Thank you. We have 2 more questions, if that's okay.
Okay. Let's see if we when I try to explain something, I lost track of time.
That's okay.
I'm trying to.
We still have some time. Yep, it's just the clock
Oh, yeah.
So the first question comes back to what you were saying earlier about expectation. So the question is expectation a bad thing? And also hope. When can we have expectation and hope?
Yeah, I don't think that expectation or hope is a bad thing, but you work towards something with an expectation. That's another topic which I if I get a chance, I will explain to them as well how people look for happiness in the world. It's based on expectation. But at this point, I would say that expectation is not a bad thing, but don't expect for it to exactly happen. Because things happen not because you expect or not because you don't expect it to happen. World works according to cause and effect. Just know that even though you have an expectation, when that doesn't happen, you know that it's okay. I have aligned some causes, but there could be 1,000 causes for that effect to manifest. Just know that this is a very practical way you can apply this, and maybe this if your mind gets trained to think in that way, I think you'll be able to manage the stress better. Okay? Because this is the truth. You can apply this and see, you go through your life experience and see. Because sometimes, for an example, if you're a boss, you see your subordinate comes to work late suddenly. Okay? And you just observe him or her for, like we say, for a week, and you think, okay, now it's like a habit. She's coming to work late, right? Then you will summon her, you'll ask her to come, and then I can't tolerate this. You can't accept this, and then you might tell something very sternly. Okay, but if you know that it's an effect, you might look for causes instead. So when you ask her, okay, I have, I've observed this for about a week or so continuously. What is happening in your life? You can ask. Right? Then she would say, okay, suddenly my in-laws have come to live with me, and I have a small child to take care as well. So the in-laws are very old and feeble, so I have to take care of them as well in the morning. So I have to feed them and dress them, and I have to take the small child to the nursery, to put her to the nursery, and I find it difficult to come on time still, so I'm trying to manage time. So she might say something like that. So that effect is it's an effect of many causes coming together. So I think you'll be able to resolve problems in a much more successful way, I would say. So then, instead of telling things sternly to her, that would have hurt her feelings a lot, because she might not tell you what she's going through. That's how it is. People don't just open up and tell their bosses everything. Unless you ask them. And then now you maybe try to help her with the time management, or you might suggest something for that to resolve, so the effect will be coming on time to work. That's how you should resolve problems. That's why I'm telling you, if you know this theory, your life will be very different. It's a different way of looking at the world. I'm just giving you an option. You can either take it or leave it. Up to you. Okay, we have like 5 minutes more, I think.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Would habits of the mind be within or out of our control? How do we look at those if we feel woeful about certain habits after they occur?
Habits. Okay. habits is also a cause and effect. But I think if I want to talk about habit, it would be like a complete new topic area that I have to talk about. Habits re-engineering, and people have habits, and they habits form if you do a certain thing continuously. It becomes a habit. Basically, a collection of habits becomes your personality, right? You are nothing but a lot of habits coming together. Again, cause and effect. Oh, this theory applies to everything. Okay. So yes, if you are thinking about habits are formed usually, again, as I explained to you earlier, it's about views. And according to views, the system works, or you call it the thoughts, words, and actions are formed according to the views that comes in your way. For example, you say this from a young age, your mom told you, this is how you comb your hair. Or maybe this is how you write. Okay, so when you hold the pen in a certain way, this is how you write. And then that's a view that's given to you. And you try to do it like that. You practice that on a daily basis. And then it becomes a habit. So it becomes a habit, and then you don't have to put an effort like the process is smoother. The process is smooth because it's been run, that process has run many a time so that you can write very easily. But it's a view. I've seen people writing like this, like, I'm not saying it's wrong. Is that wrong? No. That's another way of writing. So maybe he has gotten a view, this is how to write. Or that's how, so now it's a habit, writing like this. There are people who write like this and write like this, and the other hand as well, and like this. So habits are formed based on views. And also there are habits. When you're given a view that something is, if you use this, it's very pleasurable, it's enjoyable, use this. Or it could be let's say it could be some food. Okay, you had no idea what it is, and somebody comes and tells you, this food, let's say, what kind of food? Can you name a food? Pasta. Okay, so you didn't know about pasta. Okay, maybe like a very young age, you didn't know anything about pasta. Then somebody comes and say, pasta is really good. Then you should try it. Something like that. But at that time, did you know about pasta? Maybe like when you were like 2, 3 years old, when it was introduced, you didn't know anything about pasta, but because she expressed it in a way that's really pleasurable, so that the mind believes that. Have you tasted it? Do you know whether it's really pleasurable or not? No, you don't know anything about it. But still, if a view is given to you, if a view is given to the mind as pleasurable and joyful, the mind grabs it. And then the mind develops a liking towards it. Have you tasted it yet? No. But this is the mental process I'm talking about. This is how the mind works. And then when you believe something is very pleasurable, then the mind tends to like it. When you like something, you want it, right? Because you don't want things that you don't like. You will not like things that you believe as not pleasurable, right? So this is how it works. It goes step by step. And when you want something, then there's an urge which builds up, or a pressure that's been built, that builds up in the mind, or a vexation. Another word, vexation builds up in the mind. When you have it, what happens is that there is a reduction of that vexation. When you wanted something, it creates a vexation in the mind. Okay, it creates a pressure in the mind. Just think about it. When you want something, you have the urge to have it, right? Is it very like pleasant, nice feeling, or is it like a pressure building up? The more you wait for it, the more the pressure builds up. Okay, suppose now you were waiting for pasta for the entire day, the pressure is building up, and then the pressure is like this. Okay, when you have it, what happens? Like, there's a huge relief from vexation. And that relief is like, that is called pleasure. And you think it came from the pasta. You think it came from the pasta, but it is the pressure that was built in mind that was reduced. So there's a relief that was felt. Okay? So you think it came from pasta. And again, that view, the pasta is very pleasurable. That view get nourished again, and then the liking develops even more, and the wanting develops even more. Whenever there's a wanting, then the pressure develops. The pleasure that you, okay, I'm using the word pressure and pleasure. Okay, you know what pleasure is? You have experienced that, right? Pressure is what the pressure that's been built up, getting built in the mind. Okay, and there is a positive correlation between the level of pressure and the level of pleasure you experience. If you wanted the pasta and you waited for the entire day to have it, so a lot of pressure built up. And then when you have it, you feel a lot of pleasure. But if you got the pasta the moment you want it, so the pressure that was developed is like this, and then the release from that pressure is lower, therefore that relief is lower, and you won't feel that much of pleasure. That is why when you waited for the entire day, so the pressure builds up, and you have the first bite of pasta, huge relief from vexation. You feel first bite is like, you're in heaven. You're in like seventh heaven. You're over the moon, and you feel it. But when you have, let's say, the 20th bite or the 10th bite, do you feel the same amount of pleasure? No. But if you know math, if 1 unit gives you 20 units of happiness, then 2 units should give you 40 units of happiness. 3 units should give you 60 units of happiness. That should be the math. But it doesn't work that way. Why is that? It's because it is not coming from that. It is coming from the mental vexation and releasing from vexation. But you don't know this. You think it's coming from that, and you have it. And then this runs like a vicious cycle. And therefore, a habit of eating pasta all the time, or you think that that is coming from that. So you think so this is how sometimes the binge eating happens. Because you think that pleasure is coming from that, you keep on having it, but still you don't feel contentment, you don't feel happiness, but you don't know anything else to do. It's because the mind still believes this will give you happiness, but it doesn't. So, but the mind remembers the feeling of pleasure. So when the pleasure is felt, what is in front of you, the pasta, so it labels it to the pasta. It doesn't know that this pressure building. So it's a release from vexation. I mean, this area, I have to explain a lot more than this with more examples. But so this is why there's certain habits that are formed that people feel like they cannot escape from sometimes. But if you know this process, then you understand it's not pleasurable. That view has to be attacked. How do you attack it? By understanding this process. It gives vexation first and then reduction in vexation. That is what happens. Would you rather prefer to have no vexation, or would you prefer to have vexation and release from it? Vex and release, vex and release. Is that what you want? Or would you rather prefer not to have vexation? For that, there shouldn't be a wanting. For the wanting not to happen, your liking or attachment should not happen. For attachment to not happen, that view that this thing gives you pleasure should be attacked. How it gets attacked is from understanding it's not pleasurable. It gives vexation first, and there's a reduction of vexation. When you understand this, that view gets attacked, and therefore that view becomes less and less prominent, and therefore liking will be reduced and the wanting will be reduced. This will not happen in a day like that, but this is a way to really come out of it. Okay, habits cannot be changed in a day. It should be coaxed down slowly, step by step. And there should be support as well to do that.
Thank you so much, Anagarika. That was a really insightful and inspiring talk.
Yeah.
We will come to a close, but lots of people are saying, thank you so much. Amazing talk tonight. And for those who are watching online, I hope you enjoyed this. So we will post into the link as well some information about the monastery that Anagarika is part of. So we will just have some, maybe we'll share dedication of merits and then some short announcements. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much, Tina. And I'm very sorry that we have taken 5 minutes more.
Oh, that's okay.
But since, because we have passed the time, I would like to transfer merits. I'll make it very short, okay? So let's bring our palms together, and all the merits that we have acquired today by listening to Dhamma, taking part in the discussion, asking questions, and preaching the Dhamma, and by spreading love and compassion to all beings of all worlds. Let's transfer these merits to all beings of all worlds and all ailing minds which are suffering from the fires of desire, aversion, and delusion. May all those minds be healed with the ultimate bliss, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the beautiful audience. Thank you very much for your comments. And thank you being very interactive and asking questions. That all adds up, because when you ask a question, it will be beneficial for a lot of people. So thank you very much for being interactive, and keep smiling and be grateful.
Thank you, Anagarika. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you,
Just
Anagārikā.
some brief announcements. So we do have some changes coming our way, some really exciting changes. So if you just bear with me, I'll go through them. Next Wednesday, we have Rod Lee, who will be giving a talk on Buddhist practices for working with anxiety. I've known Rod for many, many years. He's an excellent speaker and a great Dhamma practitioner. So I invite you all to come. He'll be here in person at Bankstown, and you can join us online as well as also in Parramatta City campus. Now, the week after, we will again have the speaker here in Bankstown, and you can join us from Parramatta or online. But then from September onwards, there's going to be some big changes. So our Monday meditation classes will be open to everyone, not just for beginners, but also for experienced practitioners as well. And the time will be from 7 to 8:30 p.m, which is going to be the same time as the Wednesday nights. And that will happen at Bankstown, Western Sydney Uni campus, as well as also online. Yoga will still stay the same on the Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from the 1st of September onwards, it's going to then go to Parramatta City campus as well as online. 7 to 8:30 p.m. So if you would like to join in person with the speaker, please make your way to Parramatta City campus. On Friday nights, we have an online Buddhist studies group with Anagārikā Mahesha's brothers over at, and we have Venerable Dr. Mahinda, as well as Venerable Bakula, who will be doing the Detox Your Mind, a guide to uncovering inner peace. So that is every Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. online on Teams, so not the Zoom link. And also on Sundays, it's not every Sunday, it is once a month, the last Sunday of each month. There is a meetup where there is meditation, Dharma talks by Anagārika, and also some food that's offered for everyone for dinner, 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Parramatta South, Western Sydney Uni campus, as well as also online as well. So we've got so many amazing teachers coming your way, and we're really excited about expanding to Parramatta because Metta Centre is growing. So we would love to see you all very soon. If you would like to join the conversation, you could join us on our WhatsApp group, Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and also get weekly newsletters as well. So because of great speakers like Anagarika here, that's why we can sustain ourselves. So I would love for all of you to continue to join our events. Thank you all so much for coming, and thank you again, Anagarika. And we'd love to see you again in Sydney soon.